Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video of Fox Flicks on Connie X. Today we're gonna see what happens when we give the adult Digimon of Digimon Ghost Game new Digivolutions. Let's check it out.
Digimon Ghost Game, a season that has mixed responses from the fandom, but 50 episodes in, I think we can finally maybe start to experiment with custom art for that show. And so why don't we begin by, much like Gamamon, giving Angoramon and Jellymon their very own branching evolutions.
Let's do this.
What is up, digital companions? My name is CarnieX, and welcome back to another video. And yet today we are giving branching champion evolutions to Angoramon and Jellymon. The idea here is that Ghost Game is out to episode 50 at this point. We're moving into mega stages, so I feel like we're fairly safe giving Angoramon and Jellymon their own branching champions, very similar to Gamamon. To me, Gamamon has some themes. First off, each of his evos is named after a constellation, meaning that to me, the branching evolutions of Angoramon and Jellymon should also have a common naming theme. And each evolution gives Gamamon some advantage. A brawler for Beetle, a tank for Vasion, and flight for Chaos. And each is also part of the RGB color spectrum, which is a general theme of Gamamon. His name Gamamon coming from Gamma color. The notable outsider is Gulus, who is definitely the shadow side of Beetle Gamamon, with its entire design being a flip or dark take on Beetle Gamamon. On the color theory side of things, I think Gulus may be a reference to CMYK. If RGB is red, green, blue, CMYK is cyan, magenta, yellow, and black. And so I'll be looking to explore similar darkness and subversions with Angoramon and Jellymon's evil variants. And speaking of that, in addition to the other things I've talked about, Gamamon's branch evos also cover the attribute triangle of Digimon. Beetle Gamamon is a vaccine, Gulus Gamamon is a virus, and both Chaos and Vasion Gamamon are data attributes. As such, we thought it made sense to continue that into Angoramon and Jellymon's branching evos. So that's kind of the raison d'etre there. The only thing we're not going to be doing super hardcore is the RGB or CMYK factor for Angoramon and Jellymon, as unlike Gamamon, their names don't reference in particular colours, but we will be keeping an appropriate theme and naming theme for each of them. And as for Espimon and Ryudamon, they don't seem to be actual bona fide partners, at least not yet. They're more kind of like secondary or supporting Digimon, who do have their own Digivolutions. We've seen Ginryumon in the anime now. We know that an Espimon Digivolution is coming up, but I don't think they're going to get partners of their own at this point, and however their evolutions may branch, I feel like it's just too early, which is funny considering the show is at episode 50, or 51 or 2 by the time you're seeing this, to really consider their branching evolutions, but I'll save all that for when the show is over. And yeah, it's entirely possible the same could be said of Jellymon and Angoramon, but I just don't think they're likely to get branching champions at this point, as the levels for the main three seem to be focusing on Ultimate and Mega going forward. But if for some reason they do decide to go back and start exploring branching champions, consider this a predictions video, I guess. Stay in your cage time after time. So we begin with Angoramon. The artists and I came to the conclusion that Simbare Angoramon combines elements of nobility with its name Simbare, which is believed to come from the words Jimbauri, a traditional Japanese garment, and ballet, a dance, which I'm sure you already knew. So we decided to lead specifically with dance as a theme of Angoramon's branch champions, but with different types of clothing and nobility or stoicism factoring in too. I did at one point want to use the portmanteau system that Simbare has, but I felt that most times it just felt very clunky, so I'm not going to be calling anything like Kimo Jazz Angoramon or anything like that. I just wanted to address the portmanteau thing before people brought it up. Simbare Angoramon is a vaccine, which means if we're going by the same breakdown as Gamamon, that will mean that today we're going to be creating 2 data and 1 virus type for Angoramon. And the first Angoramon evolution is Break Angoramon, designed by Soru. This data type breakdancer came together so well. Soru designed it to be a fierce street brawler, always focused on the next fight, not really caring about their surroundings, and the headphones that they wear are a way to dodge conversations. But those are only a decoy, seeing as Angoramon's ears are folded up into a sort of top knot, so it can still hear perfectly. Bandages cover their arms, showing how much of a reckless fighter they are, which is contrary to Simbare Angoramon. Break Angoramon fights with jabs instead of kicks, including their attacks, such as its Donair Fist, where they strike their enemies with sheer strength and the metal plates on their their gauntlets. And another important technique that Sori wanted me to point out is the gum they're chewing. The bubbles that it blows out can become powerful bombs which they then flip at their opponents, known as Baku gum. Sori wanted to go with a rowdy, punkish Angoramon variant that still has that element of stoicism we were talking about. And I've really been on like a Street Fighter 6 kick at the moment. I am obsessed with that game coming out next year. So I thought it would be really cool to fold in some Street Fighter 3 and Street Fighter 6 elements, and Sori did that beautifully, with the gum in the headphones symbolizing that he's less of a gentle mon than Simbare. And I think those hip-hop vibes come through nicely, again for that Street Fighter reference. Sori also said that another design inspiration was Leomon, seeing how he's an option on the Angoramon dim, so Sori gave him some features and a necklace similar to Leomon's. And you could even see the quills on the shoulder being a nod to Elecmon, a very common Leomon pre-evolution, and to Lamormon, the de facto Angoramon ultimate. Because of all this, Break Angoramon is our kind of tank or power type evolution similar to Vasion Gamamon. Then HLR took Angoramon and turned him into our second data type, Time Angoramon. I gave it the name Time Angoramon from the Time Warp, a dance, because of course of all these time-based features. HLR envisioned this as an Angoramon who spent all its XP points, if you will, on magic and agility. It said he learned his magic skills from someone from another realm where magic is common. Wonder where that could be. And appears to have super speed, but actually uses time magic to slow time down, creating the illusion of super speed. Time Angoramon also evokes things like the White Rabbit from Alice in Wonderland, and something I really like here is that you can still see those Angoramon ears, but reinterpreted like clock hands. So this would be the Kaus Gamamon equivalent, but rather than just direct flight, that time manipulation can make it feel like it's doing aerial or super speed abilities. And then we move on to our Gulus Gamamon equivalent for Angoramon, the ones that honestly I was super excited to show off because I just love the Gulus Gamamon idea and want to see it for more Digimon. And so Angoramon becomes Macabre Angoramon, drawn by Capney. This is the virus, the Gulus Gamamon, as I said, for Angoramon. Focus Capney wanted to go off was the Dance Macabre, also known as the Dance of Death, which is the name of many songs and pieces of literature, hence the bony look to Macabre Angoramon, with the skull helmet and tattered ears, and even the cloak akin to the Grim Reaper, except in a much more purplish coloration. The Dance Macabre being a French term also adds to that nobility I was talking about with Angoramon, which is why there's still some regalness to this form, like the colour purple and the fur around the neck. Capney also gave it black fur because, well, it is the virus version of Simbare Angoramon, but also because some Angora rabbits do have black and grey fur. In addition to this, the skull that you can see on top that really completes the piece is based on the jackalope idea. Macabre Angoramon is a fierce fighter, using everything in its arsenal. It kicks just as hard as Simbare Angoramon, but also does not back away from a battle, and will take down its enemy at any cost, with its Funeral March attack, which sees it solemnly approaching its opponent, striking fear in its heart only to deliver the devastating blow. Alright, and then let's move over to Jellymon, because I know there's a lot of Jellymon fans out there. I see you, you weirdos. Jellymon's in-show champion is Tesla Jellymon, so the artists and I agreed it made sense for the new champions created for her to also be named after famous inventors or innovators of history. Which brings us to Jellymon's equivalent of Kaus Gamamon, the form that allows Jellymon to take to the skies, and that is Right Jellymon, designed by some guy 944. Its name, of course, comes from the Wright brothers, the innovators or perhaps inventors of manned flight. But instead of going with the biplane look, some guy 944 went with the UFO look. And this is a vaccine, as Tesla Jellymon is a data. Right Jellymon is a troublemaker, causing problems for humans. It is said that almost every UFO picture taken in the human world is actually just Right Jellymon pranking humans because she loves pranking them so much. Some guy 944 also gave her her very own flight mode, where she can pack herself to enable longer flight across continents. This is in reference to Jellymon herself having her very own float mode, which makes her look more like a traditional jellyfish. Right Jellymon, much like Jellymon herself, is a huge prankster, and whether it's in the digital world or the human world, uses her tractor beam to cause mischief, but when she needs to get into a battle, she transforms from flight mode into her regular mode to deliver a smackdown with her alien thunder. But what about the other data branch evolution for Jellymon? Jellymon? Well, for this, I commissioned Dry, who, yes, we are aware, Dry keeps getting water-based Digimon in these videos, oh the irony, turned Jellymon into Noble Jellymon. This we envisioned as the Evasion Gammamon equivalent, Jellymon's tanky explosive evolution. Named after Alfred Nobel, the inventor of dynamite, who also bequeathed his fortune to establish the Nobel Prize. And fun fact, a jellyfish actually won the Nobel Prize once in 2008. The dynamite theme then ties into her lava orange body, which looks just like a stick of dynamite, as well as the naval mines on her appendages. Dry said that this is an evolution of Jellymon that embodies its protective nature. Noble Jellymon's tendrils concentrate a lot of explosive energy, blowing away everything that gets too close with its Mine Punisher. Despite its hot-headed personality, it detests needless destruction. And then finally is Jellymon's Gulus Gammamon equivalent. And All Trade took Jellymon and turned it into Op-N Jellymon, the virus type. All Trade said they like to think of this as a self-proclaimed rival for Gulus, wanting to defeat him despite blatantly being ignored and downplayed by Gulus Gammamon, the resident Dark Conqueror, thinking that Op-N Jellymon has a major superiority complex, even more so than base Jellymon, hence that rivalry between herself and Gulus. This terrifying creature of the deep, despite her own vanity, would truly be something to fear. Her name, of course, comes from J. Robert Oppenheimer, a professor of physics known as the father of the atomic bomb, as he was a major player in the Manhattan Project during World War II, which developed the first nuclear weapons, famously quoted as saying, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds." And Op-N Jellymon is equally as frightful as Oppenheimer's creation, a devastating force of the digital world, which perhaps has only been saved by her own vanity, the fact that she won't allow herself to lose control. But it is said that one day Op-N Jellymon could be part of a devastating apocalypse for the human and digital worlds, because who knows what would happen if she did unleash her powerful signature attack, the Atomic Barrage. And that is it, our branching evolutions for Angoramon and Jellymon to match them up to Gammamon. Let me know in the comments down below which is your favourite, and please do go show some love to all the artists by following them on their platform of choice. Who knows how long Twitter's going to be around for, but they're all there for now. Also, of course, huge shout out to my sovereigns, ZDK14 and J.
The shiny Pokemon noise. Oh well, that is where we're going to end off today's video. So I want you all to remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Down in the description will be a link to the original video. So remember to support the original creator and all he does. And I'll see all you folks next time when we flick on. Peace out.